The Royal Rumble has wrapped up, and I did not see that coming. First of all, overall impressions of the Rumble, I thought it moved at a really good pace. I thought the Rumble matches respectfully had good amount of surprises and just kind of good flow overall. Nothing really dragged for me on the show in terms of the Rumble matches. Having a 4-match card at the Royal Rumble, I don't know, what do you think? Was it too light? Did you need more singles matches, like a triple threat or something in between there? Just even for like 10 minutes to kind of break it up. But overall, like, I really enjoyed this year's Royal Rumble, more so than in years past, because I think there was just enough compelling questions of who's gonna win, who's getting tossed out, who's gonna show up. So let's talk about the matches first, get those out of the way, then we'll get into the Rumble matches themselves. This is Gruns. It's actually a sugar-free super vitamin that you can get, and it's in a gummy form. That's a lot of gummies. 8 little gummies in this pack right here. So here's the thing. For me, I take multivitamins every single day. I have taken like a lot of vitamins where I'm taking the daily ones, and then as I'm getting older, I'm trying to keep my immune system up and that I don't fall apart so easily. I am not a big fan of taking all of the physical pill vitamins. There's a bottle for everything. I'd rather have a gummy and move on with my day. So Gruns are actually a comprehensive formula that's packed into 8 gummies a day. So this little guy right here, the little teddy bear, this isn't a multivitamin, a greens gummy, or a probiotic. It's actually all of those things and then some at a fraction of the price. And a bonus, it actually tastes pretty good. Oh, that does taste great. 8 gummies are included in each daily snack pack because you can't fit the amount of nutrients we do in just one gummy. Generic multivitamins only contain around 7 to 9 vitamins, and we have 20 plus vitamins and minerals and 60 plus whole food ingredients. So with these little guys, there's no artificial colors or flavors, but it's still tasty. It tastes like a fruit snack is what you're getting. There's vegan, nut-free, gluten-free, dairy-free, low sugar, or sugar-free options available. And again, vegan, pectine-based, not gelatin-based. Gruns is more comprehensive and accurately dosed than your current nutrition solution. If you check your nutrition label, Gruns actually contains 100% of your daily needs for safe vitamins and 25% of your daily needs for certain minerals that are known to be potentially toxic at excessive levels over an extended period of exposure. Stated simply, 99% of supplements are lazy and take an off-the-shelf generic blend that may be doing more harm than good. Watch out for daily values that are over 100%. Not every supplement, vitamin, or greens powder puts in the care and dose ingredients effectively. I like that there's sugar-free options available. I like that it's natural, and I'm getting all the vitamins and nutrients that I need. Just click the link in the description below and get up to 45% off your next order. And thank you to Gruns so much for supporting the channel. I want to talk about Motor City Machine Guns. 2 out of 3 falls going up against DIY. DIY retained. They won the last fall, but you had the help of the Street Profits, who came in the hoodies and then attacked Motor City Machine Guns. Then they attacked DIY and they had the crutch, and they were doing that. So they are firmly, like, they're bad guys, kind of. The hoodies are always like a giveaway that people are bad, right? So you got the Street Profits that are probably tweeners, or they're just going to be aggressive guys now going up in the tag division. And this is kind of what I thought was going to happen. I thought that we would get down the road, like WrestleMania, doing a multi-man tag team match where you'd have the Street Profits, DIY, Pretty Deadly, and Motor City Machine Guns all going at it for those titles. The match itself, excellent. Kind of like a busted open real hard. But when you were coming off, like, it was the Women's Rumble, then you had the 2 out of 3 falls match, I felt like it was a little bit too, it just wasn't picking up for the crowd, probably because you're gassed from watching a 1-hour Rumble match. But nevertheless, still a great match. Glad I made it on the card. Nice for Motor City Machine Guns, because I don't know if they've been in front of a crowd that size before. Like, that stadium was huge. But I like to finish that we got more compelling questions of what's going to happen with the Street Profits. Now, Cody versus Kevin Owens. This one, I thought, man, they hit some of those ladder spots they did. Basically, Cody eating the ladder. Like when Kevin Owens suplexed him off the back of it and like it bounced completely. Cody selling for those things was really awesome. I thought that they did an excellent job for this ladder match. In no way did I see Kevin Owens really winning. It was more of just, I would want him to win just to see what the story would be, because you had compelling stuff even leading up to this where I'm looking at SmackDown and I got CM Punk and Kevin Owens face to face going at each other. I was like, man, I kind of want that for WrestleMania as the main event. But you had like the Alabama Slam at the end with Kevin Owens going through the ladder off the table. It was rough. Some of those spots were rough looking, and I think those guys deliver. You needed something that was going to be really hard hitting, aggressive, and ultimately Cody wins and he pulls down both titles. I thought the ending that, like, they took out Kevin Owens. He was a bloody mess. He got the Alabama Slam through the table, and he was destroyed. Like, his neck was bent over, and he had Sami Zayn out there too to help out Kevin Owens, or kind of help him out. But I thought that ending part, I don't know what would have been better. Would it be better to have Cody and Kevin Owens on the ladder, and then it's like through a table or something in the ring, so then Cody can just quickly grab it? I just felt like it was a long road of like, Kevin Owens goes through the ladder, and then Cody has to go back into the ring, climb all the way up, and then try to get the whole thing down. Now let's talk about Sami Zayn for just a second here. His role was interesting. He reminded me of Terry Funk with Mankind at Hell in a Cell, where he came out to Mankind's aid during the Undertaker Hell in a Cell match to check on him. I like Sami's spot in here. I really did, because it wasn't just him interfering or turn or anything like that. I like that they were just kind of playing with it, like showing that Sami is supporting, he is coming out to help out Kevin Owens. But what's interesting is that he didn't help him. Like, what I think can happen here is this will set up the match between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, probably for WrestleMania, if I had to guess. Because now you have Kevin Owens maybe taking some time off, and when he comes back, he could probably attack Sami Zayn or confront him, because Sami will say, I did have your back, I came out to check on you, you went through ladders, like you were destroyed. And Kevin Owens could be like, yeah, but you didn't stop him. Like, maybe that's just me looking at it. Maybe that's what Kevin Owens will talk about, is how I got put through this ladder, I was destroyed, I was on the back of my neck, and you watched Cody quickly, or just slowly actually, just go up to the ladder and climb and grab it, because Sami was looking at Cody the whole time, right? But they didn't focus on it like, will he or won't he? Cody just grabbed him, pulled him down, and it was done. So I think you can tell a really good story. Their whole backstory and history is what you will lean on. The initial motivation for Kevin Owens, I think, will be, hey, you didn't stop Cody, and I wanted you to help me. And Sami can be like, I helped you, I checked on you. Now, Cody and all of this, did you watch Cody? Because I felt like, man, you got Homelander Cody, like a little bit. Cody was interesting post-match. He grabbed both belts down, he's double champion. Also, quickly, are we gonna get a new title? Do you think that they will melt them both, or is Cody just gonna go back and get his mustard belt WWE title? I kind of want him to be like, hey, we gotta get a new belt now. You were defined as undisputed champion, or he's gonna walk around with double titles like Roman did. But anyways, Cody at the post-match, that's what really had me interested, because you saw him celebrate. He celebrated, he went to the top rope, and then he went to the turnbuckle, went up there, and he's posing over top of Kevin Owens, who's on the outside, just destroyed, right? He hasn't moved. But the camera is like positioned where you have Cody celebrating, and you can see Kevin Owens in the shot. And then you had Cody leave. He went up three times to the top rope to celebrate. And then he leaves. He rolls out of the ring, then he stops, and then he comes back around. Kevin Owens is still destroyed in the ladder. He's still lying there. And Cody goes over him onto the table and celebrates over top of Kevin Owens, with Sami Zayn checking on him. Cody doing, like, that to me was much more defiant than what Cody would normally do. This wasn't Cody, wanting to shake the hand of Kevin Owens or check on him to make sure he was okay, and or just go up to the ramp and celebrate on his own. Cody made the decision, his character made the decision to go over, and again, the production, the camera angles on all of that was what caught me, because they have it from Kevin Owens on the ground looking up, and Cody is in the background holding both belts and like just yelling and celebrating. He's like mocking and taunting Kevin Owens. So this gets very interesting, I think, for WrestleMania, because we got a lot of questions to ask about that. But Cody, even we saw this with Punk in that promo, Cody is a little bit more broken down, he's tired. And I think you see a little bit of that coming out of this match, where maybe what changes for Cody is just kind of his attitude a little bit. Like, he's been going this hard and he's just gonna win at all costs kind of thing, which could be interesting for his WrestleMania opponent. But I thought the ladder match, I thought it was great. I think it was, good to break up the flow of the Rumbles itself. And I do think that you're probably gonna get Sami versus Kevin Owens, which is a great match. But you know what? The only thing we didn't see tonight, and talking about the Rumble for a second, but we didn't see Randy Orton, and I wonder what's going to happen there. Maybe they just wanted to save Randy for another episode of SmackDown, or he's going to show up on Raw. You never know. But but I thought you could have used Randy in that match or even the Rumble itself, because Randy's got motivation to go after Kevin Owens. So you never know, maybe it's Sammy, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton in a three-way. I don't know. Okay, let's talk about the Women's Royal Rumble match. This I thought was great, top to bottom. What did you think? For me, it flowed. There were great surprises throughout. You had Jordynne Grace, who's officially over in WWE now, as we suspected. Roxanne Perez went the distance. She went like number 3 all the way to the very end. Alexa Bliss made the giant return. That was a pop. That crowd popped for Alexa Bliss coming out. She still had the doll. She was looking all creepy, Wyatt-ish, and then she just kind of quickly went into her own thing. Nikki Bella was number 30, which I thought was a kind of an odd choice. Like, I'm fine with Nikki Bella, that's all great, but I was like, why is she at number 30? And of course, you had Charlotte Flair make her big return as well. No Becky Lynch, they didn't go that path. They're still saving Becky. You had a lot of representation for NXT, which I thought was a great move. I didn't think they would pull as much NXT talent as they did, but it helped to balance things out. Trish Stratus made a return too. Probably just a one-off is my guess there, unless they want to do some kind of Legends match. And one of the standouts for me in the Women's Rumble was going to be Chelsea Green, getting eliminations and getting the huge reactions from the crowd. The crowd loves Chelsea. Like, they need to keep doing more with her. I'm glad that she's US champion, but in a year or so, I think they need to kind of pull the trigger on Chelsea Green as main event talent, because the crowd loved her getting eliminations. She was hilarious in the Rumble. They had the spots with Piper Niven. She got eliminated. Like, they did a lot with Chelsea, which I really appreciated. I thought it was excellent. And of course, Charlotte Flair made the big return, and she got pyro as well, which kind of, like, I was pegging Charlotte to win the Rumble no matter what. But when you have her come out and she's got the biggest entrance and she gets pyro, you kind of foreshadowing, like, you're just pointing right there and be like, this is the person. Now, I know that people are kind of 50-50 on Charlotte, right? Because some will say, hey, she shouldn't be at the top. She just came back from injury. Like, put her in something else. I don't need to see her win another title. I think, though, if you want to be able to make Tiffany Stratton a bigger character, a bigger star, going up against someone like Charlotte is not a bad way to go. And the crowd popped for her, loved her. She looked great. She did great in the ring. So I think ultimately it was the right move. However, I mean, you still have Rhea's title. I'm assuming Charlotte's going to go after Tiffany, but you have an interesting spot with Rhea Ripley now that's completely open. Are you going to move with somebody like Io Sky? Are you going to have Jade if she comes back? Bianca? Like, what are you going to do with Rhea? Becky, multi-woman match? Who knows? There's a lot of options if you are going to have the Rhea's title, that title belt, all freed up, assuming Flair is going after Stratton, which, again, all the vignettes for Charlotte go over on SmackDown. That's where it's teased. That seems to be where the match is going to happen. Does she win? I don't know. We'll do a Mania predictions. But I thought the Women's Rumble, really well done. Sometimes Women's Rumble are in Men's Rumble too, but they're like slogs where they got a couple of cool spots, like an entrance, and then it just kind of dies and you're just waiting for the final 4. This, I felt like, had a really good pace, and everybody they showed off in the match. Like, everybody stood out. I felt they had great spots. I really did enjoy it. The other thing with the Rumbles too, I will say I did like all the graphics. I liked how they did it much more of a sports feel to it, so that you had the idea of what number are we at, entrance, eliminations, who's in the ring, how many people are in the ring right now. I liked all of that, honestly. It wasn't overwhelming, but it was just enough where you got the ticker at the bottom. You could see who's involved in the Rumble and who's got like most eliminations. So that I thought was really well done. I want them to keep doing that. Okay, the Men's Royal Rumble match. That was something. That was something to watch. And it's worth going back to watch probably the last 10-15 minutes of that, where everything started to line up and it got really wild in there. But as we go through this, guys, if you can help me out, we got like over 50% of you are not subscribed to the channel, but you do end up watching it. We're trying to get to 50,000 subs. I have lofty goals of like 100,000 eventually. But in the meantime, I would love it if you hit subscribe, help support us here. We're trying to get to 50K by WrestleMania, and that would make my dreams come true. But thank you as always for your support. So the Men's Royal Rumble match, Penta and Rey starting it off. Excellent. You had standouts like Jacob Fatu. I'm not going through everything, but you had standouts like Jacob Fatu. Joe Hendry showed up, which I think a lot of us expected, and that was huge. He had a huge pop and a huge moment. Akira Tozawa was going to come out. ISHO Speed, he got taken out, and then ISHO Speed got thrown into the Royal Rumble. He got destroyed by Braun Breaker. Like, just that spear looked like it hurt. And then he gets thrown out, and Otis grabs him and throws him over his head over the table. Like, that was nasty. That was a nasty spot. Good for him. That was fun. That was a cool little celebrity moment. I'm glad it didn't take away from the show. Sometimes they do the run-ins, the celebrity spots, or they do a couple of them, and they're not fun or worth it. It's like, oh, they come in and then they step out of the ring. You're like, what was the point of this? Speed at least got in there, ran out of the ring, got a big reaction. I like how they did it backstage and they just made it fun. And then, yeah, he got decimated in that thing, which is kind of what you want to see. I was surprised how many superstars that are a little bit lower, like the mid card, actually got into the Rumble, because I thought they would pull more from TNA. I thought they would pull more from TNA, like Jeff Hardy or Nick Nemeth. They didn't. And then I thought they just would go with more of like high-end talent. Like, I'm glad the guys got in there, but they did really mix it up. So at number 16, you had Roman Reigns come in, and that's when things really started to shift in the Rumble. Roman gets in there and just starts dropping spears. We got the return of AJ Styles as well, which I loved, and I'm curious what they're gonna do. By the way, AJ got his old theme back. He's regular AJ Styles. I think he's probably gonna be a face or a tweener, and he's just gonna be badass AJ Styles, go to WrestleMania and do something cool. I hope we do get that. My pick is a sidebar, AJ versus Logan Paul. I don't want Logan Paul in my matches, but if I had to get something, yeah, you could do a Logan Paul. But it got crazy at one point because you had Roman in the ring. I think Drew was still in the match at this point. Maybe he got eliminated, but it ended up with like Roman and then Cena, and you got the face-to-face there. And before they could get into it, you had CM Punk then come out, and then you got Roman, Punk, and Cena all looking at each other in the ring. Like, I thought that was cool. Then you had Seth Rollins come out, and then they got the four of them in there. So there was a point where you had so much main event talent all in the ring going at it. From AJ, Roman, Cena, Punk, Seth, Drew, like, you had so many guys that it really felt like the top of the card is all in there and anybody could win. We also saw Dom, we saw Logan Paul came out, who did the spot where he gets out of the ring and jumps to the announce table and then, plays chicken, and then eventually got back in. He eliminated AJ Styles. LA Knight came out, which is great. And of course, Jey Uso he was in there for a long time too. Now, Cena was interesting because of the amount of eliminations he got. Huge reaction when Cena came out, obviously. And a lot of us had, I think, a couple of options for picks for who would win the Rumble. From Cena to Drew, Seth, Punk, Roman. Especially on the high end, Punk and Roman and Cena probably your more likely candidates. So in the match though, towards the end, you had Roman and Seth going at it one-on-one, which was really good to see. I liked how they were you got so much history in there. So the two of them going at it, they were getting all tied up in the ropes, and then Punk eliminates Roman and Seth at the same time. So as Punk is standing there for just a second, and I was like, okay, so Punk's clearly gonna win this thing now. No Paul Heyman interference though, but you had Seth and Roman eliminated, but then Logan Paul dumps CM Punk out of the ring. Massive heat and surprise, at least for me. I did not see that coming, and I got really nervous just watching it live, and that's the fun of pro wrestling. Watching it live and going, oh no, are they actually gonna go in the direction of Logan Paul now? Because at that point it was Logan and Jay and Cena, and you had these three top names completely out of it. It was just, I couldn't understand what the heck they were gonna do. I was like, I don't want Logan Paul main event Mania, like against Cody. That was gonna suck. Once Punk and Roman and Seth got eliminated, those three just started going at it. Curb stomps, they're fighting on the outside, everyone got taken out. I like that at some point CM Punk kind of stepped over Roman Reigns though, just slightly, because he went and he kind of leaned into Paul Heyman and looked at him for just a second as Punk exited and walked by. Seth was already up the ramp and Roman's lying there, but that little thing there, that's got me interested. But with the rest of the Rumble, Cena was gonna go for a double AA, and then Jay hits a super kick on Paul, and Cena eliminates Logan Paul, so we're all just kind of like, okay, thank you, good, yay, we're not gonna have that to deal with. And at the very end, you had Cena and you had Jey Uso just teetering on the outside, and honestly, at that point, I was like, okay, so they're gonna go with Cena and they're gonna do the whole championship reign story. Felt like that was it. And Jey Uso wins the Royal Rumble. Didn't have that figured out. I didn't think that would be the direction they would go. I was shocked. I really was. I was surprised when Punk got eliminated. I was surprised it was done by Logan Paul. I was surprised they did Jey Uso. Fantastic for Jay. Happy for him. Just surprising that was the move they made, because I didn't see it coming, and that's great. That's the best thing I could wish for, is being surprised, not just getting, you know, the satisfaction like, okay, well, you saw it coming from a mile away. That, I don't think a lot of people really thought, hey, Jay's gonna win this thing because he just came off the loss at Saturday night's main event against Gunther. But I'm so happy for him because as much, like, there's a lot of people online and all that, they'll say, oh, Jay's not a great worker, like he can't pull off great matches technically in the ring. And I agree. I'm like, I don't find Jay's wrestling that compelling, but him as a character superstar and where he has been with the bloodline and up until now as a single star, he's top talent. He just is. He sells a ton of merch and he's one of the most popular people. The crowd here went insane for when he came out. So I'm glad that Jay is getting rewarded for hard work, and you know, he's going to WrestleMania. He's gonna have a main event. And I say that because what do you think? Jay is not main eventing night 2 WrestleMania against Cody. I don't think that is the match. I think what you're now gonna get, and this is actually where I think it could be a good thing that Jay won the Rumble, because you have so many options for everybody else now. It's kind of a wide open field. An Elimination Chamber is very interesting. So Jay, I think, is gonna go after Gunther and the world title. And no, I don't think that's main event night 1 or night 2. It could main event night 1 if they make a really compelling story with Jay for the lead up, but I could see it being like Seth and Drew last year. That opened night 2 of WrestleMania. You could do the Gunther match against Jay opening night 2, and it'll be great. You get that moment though. You can get Jay built up and defeating Gunther. Kind of like Sami Zayn did last year, but crowd loves Jey Uso a lot. So him holding the world title makes sense. Maybe it would help elevate the world title once again, and you have Jay go on a run with that world belt. I don't think that he's going after the undisputed title. Is there a cool story there? Yeah, you got the bloodline. You got everything involved with that. And Cody Rhodes and Jay being tag team partners, and Jay now has to overcome Cody, but I don't feel like that's the match they want to do. So then you got everybody else. With everybody else that was eliminated, like the prime contenders, I'm talking John Cena, Roman, Seth, and Punk. And you can throw in Drew there too, but what he's gonna do. Those being all the kind of the main contenders in their little story, you got so many options now for who's gonna go after Cody. Assuming Jay goes world title, who's gonna go after Cody? Well, at Chamber, you might have one of the most stacked elimination chambers of all time, because you may have a situation where you have Punk, Roman, Cena, Seth, Drew, and Logan Paul, for example. I don't know, but you might, those 6 guys roughly in an elimination chamber to go after Cody's belt. That could be huge. Now, the directions you can go are like any number because you've set up all the different scenarios. I think you could do Cena and Cody for the belt. Cena is so heavily advertised for Elimination Chamber. I, in fact, am going to the Elimination Chamber, so I can't wait. But I think Cena could probably come out of Elimination Chamber as #1 contender to Cody, and he just scrapes by where you have Punk and Seth and Roman just destroying each other and costing each other the match and the opportunity to get that main event. This is where you get so many interesting dynamics of the 3 of them, of Punk and Roman and Seth, if they want to do, say, a triple threat. That could be one of the Mania main events. That could be Punk's favor, is get me a Mania main event against Roman Reigns. I think you gotta keep Seth in there. I don't see Punk and Seth going round 2 just for a one-off match, no title involved. You could do a multi-man match though, for Cody's title. Like, what if they went wild with it and they were just like, screw it, we're gonna get all these guys involved in a match and just be chaos. But I could see them doing a main event of night 1, and that being Seth, Roman, and Punk in like this giant grudge match between the 3 of them. Punk gets his WrestleMania main event. Roman is gonna be in a main event. Roman's not gonna be not in a main event. But the dynamics of the Shield of Seth and Roman is killer, and Seth and Punk is there, and Punk and Roman and Paul Heyman. I think there's a lot you could play with. Overall, I thought this was one of the better Royal Rumbles. I just really enjoyed it beginning to end. I got surprised, and I did not see Jey Uso winning, but I'm glad he did for himself. I think that's amazing. What did you guys think of the Royal Rumble? It's good, but we're going to talk more about the world title, because the current state of the world championship with Gunther is kind of meh. So if you want to talk about that, we got this video right here. Have a great day. See ya.